With the 2025 NFL trade deadline passing, the Detroit Lions are going to have to patch up this roster the best way they can through waiver wire free agent claims. That's how they're going to have to do it. And they did so last night. They brought in an offensive lineman to put on the practice squad. We also lost a linebacker to the Miami Dolphins. You guys can see it on the banner below that Andre Carter was poached from the Detroit Lions practice squad. And remember, if you are poached from a practice squad, you have to go on a 53-man roster. Coming from Cameron Wolf and his Twitter account, says the Dolphins have signed linebacker Andre Carter, former Army standout, to active roster off Lions practice squad. Carter fills Jalen Phillips' roster spot. And we know that Jalen Phillips was traded yesterday, it might have been Monday that he was traded right before the NFL trade deadline to the Philadelphia Eagles as they look for their second Super Bowl consecutively. So we lose a linebacker that I don't think got any time in the Detroit Lions lineup during the game. And there are rumors and rumblings that next week is the week that Ahmed Hassanin, the 6th-round pick that was waived with an injury by the Detroit Lions, can return to the team. So we'll see how that goes and how that will be. Is he going to come in if we sign him, which we probably will, how much of an asset he's going to be. So the Miami Dolphins snatch a guy that we had on our team that they feel good enough about him to be on their 53-man roster. Speaking of 53-man rosters, the only way that this team is going to get better is a few ways. You're either going to pick up somebody that is a free agent now that the trade deadline is passed, as we've discussed yesterday. Now that the trade deadline is over, if you have any years, vested, veteran or not, you have to go through waivers. That is how you got to pass through waivers, become a free agent if you're not claimed through waivers. So for the Detroit Lions, where they are now, they're not as good as they were last year at this time. I think we only had the one loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think this time last year we were 7-1, I believe. So we were a little bit deeper in the waiver wire, but now we're right at the middle of the pack. We're right around there, maybe between 14 and 16. So we would have a bigger chance at getting somebody off the waiver wire. But if we now want to build this team with any players outside, they have to be a free agent or they have to get to us in the waiver wire claim. So this team that you see before you, with the addition of the people coming back from injury, is the team that's going to be your Super Bowl team, if that is what you feel. Now, we had a conversation yesterday. Do you think that the Detroit Lions are still a Super Bowl team? Now, I think that it's very ironic, and Dan Campbell today said some things about the trade deadline. Shout out, first of all, I got to say this. I really respect Dan Campbell because Dan Campbell had to field the questions today. Brad Holmes did his best Andrew Berry impersonation. He was not in front of the media. Even though no trade was made, he still could have answered for that. But Brad Holmes had to answer for him. Dan Campbell had to answer for him. Said that if a trade made sense, it had to make sense in all the ways that we know that the Lions have preached that it has to make sense. That he has to be the type of player that fits the roster and what they're trying to do, especially in between the ears. Are they the type of guy that we have on the team, that we usually sign on the team? And I said this last season, and I'm very curious to know. I said, is grit going to be enough to win the Super Bowl? I've been saying this after 2023 when we lost. We were all grit, and we lost with all grit. Then in 2024, we were all hurt. And I was doing some math, and I said, a year like this, remember, what was the last year that the Lions had like 20-plus injuries, that we went through a season where we were just getting decimated with injury? That I recall was 2019, when Matthew Stafford had the back fragments. We had 20-plus people on IR. I think even Hawkinson was on. It was a ton of people on IR that we had to use David Blau as our quarterback. And it was so bad that the Fords offered him a F-150 if he could win the game, which I don't even know how. I don't think it was the Fords. I take that back. It was a dealership they said, if you can win a game, we'll give you an F-150. Needless to say, we didn't win. And then that's what led to the eventual third overall pick in Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn's last year, that we take Jeff Okudah, and the rest is history. So the Detroit Lions, so I'm wondering this, and put it in the comment section below. It feels like there's a little uneasiness when it comes to going forward. Like, I don't think the words are going to hit the same anymore, right? It's like, you know what, or get off the pot. It is put up or shut up. And Dan Campbell was in front of the media putting up like he always does, which I respect, which is, we got our guys. We believe in these guys. A trade has to make sense in more ways than one. And it sounded like he kind of alluded to some things as to why they wouldn't have traded for Trey and how much sense it would have made. But I think that what I've seen is, heading into the season, I've been on a defensive end, a.k.a. the pass rush. We start to lose cornerbacks. You guys were like, oh, we need a cornerback. Then we find out that Terrion Arnold is not lost for the season. Are the Legion of whom they play well. So now we're like, okay, maybe we don't need a cornerback. Maybe then we see Taylor Decker and the O-line playing like they've played. So now it's like, oh, shoot, we need an offensive lineman. Then Christian Mahogany goes out. And this is when I think why a lot of you guys are shocked as to why you might start to have a different view of maybe the team and Brad Holmes. We lose Christian Mahogany. And with the need and with the way that our offensive line has been playing, from Taylor Decker to losing Mahogany to Graham Glasgow, everybody, I think a lot of you were like, okay, you know what? We're second in sacks in the NFL. We don't need a pass rush. Okay, fine. Right? Muhammad is playing like a number 2. So, okay, good. Now you're like, okay, we need an offensive lineman. And there's 2 guys from the Washington Commanders that it is known that they are available. And then no move was made. And I think that's the point. So put it in the comments below. What's the point that kind of, if any, that kind of got you, I don't want to use the word shook like you're like, ugh, but the part that you like, well, what are we doing, right? Why didn't we do this? Because up until this point, it's been trust the process, in Brad we trust, I believe in Holmes, all of these things. And maybe you still do, which is fine. There's no right or wrong answer here. But us not bringing in, and then it was almost like a slap in the face, right? When we bring in a practice squad offensive lineman, it was a slap in the face. But with that being the case, we did get word today that the 21-day window has started on Miles Frazier. Now, this is a guy that we did a draft video about. A lot of you individuals like him, and you think he's going to be that dude. The good news is for our offensive line is that his clock is starting today, which means that the Detroit Lions have 21 days to make an assessment on Miles to decide whether or not he's going to be capable of playing the rest of the season or he's done for the rest of the season. So with it being today, which is Wednesday, it seems like the Lions do this on Wednesday. He's probably not going to play this week. So we have the game against the Commanders on the 9th. Then we have the Philadelphia Eagles on the 16th. Then we have on the 23rd, the New York Giants. So a decision needs to be made by the 12th, 19th, the 26th. So is it possible that we'll see Miles Frazier, I almost said Garrett, I wish, Miles Frazier on Thanksgiving Day? That is a real possibility, but either way, a decision by Thanksgiving Day or the day before that needs to be made. So good news for the Detroit Lions that we are getting one of our draft picks back and available to help out, as we are now pretty much with the team that we're going to have. We've already looked at the free agent, the pass rushers. There's none out there. The free agent safeties if need be. Yes, Justin Simmons is kind of softly, unofficially retired. That has kind of come out since I made my video. Just had a kid, not really eager to get back into the game. So the team is going to be built in one or two ways. We put in, or one of three ways. We go get somebody off the couch. We claim somebody through waivers that actually gets to us, or they somehow get through waivers and we're able to convince them to sign with the Detroit Lions. Last year, this time, we were bringing in Adam, what's the dude's name? Jamal Adams. And a couple years ago, we were bringing in Bruce Irvin, Tyson Alu, and those type of guys. So we are going to have to find a way through practice squad dudes, couch guys, and potential waiver claims to make this team better and enough to take us all the way. Remember, when we get to the playoffs, we have to go a perfect 4-0 to win the Super Bowl. Is that going to happen? We'll see. We will see. With that being said, this channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. It's because of your support I get to do what I do. You could be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. Not sure yet. My throat is still sore, like I said at the beginning of this video. I really wanted to see Jaden as well. I want to get that, like I said earlier, that kind of revenge factor. It's going to be outside. My biggest fear is the rain. Now I'm not feeling well, so we shall see. I've got a little while to cancel my ticket, and the Philadelphia is up in the air as well, so we'll see. Anyway, you guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.